Welcome to Cam Look, your daily dose of art from the Cincinnati Art Museum. Each weekday at 10, a member of staff or a volunteer will be sharing an artwork from the permanent collection, along with some questions to consider. Check back at 10 every weekday for a new artwork and a new conversation. I'm Chandra Obie Linn, the Textile Conservator here at the Cincinnati Art Museum, and I am an enthusiast for hats. Since I'm back at work here at the museum, I have raided collection storage for a few of my favorites to share with you today. But these aren't just any hats. These are hats by the famous designer, Mr. John, including this 1960s beret, which is as much here as not here, this 1960s topper with a translucent buckram crown, and this 1950s cocktail hat with an attached veil and scarf. This 1960s operation is from my own personal collection, since objects in the museum's collection never go on real live heads anymore. Mr. John was a fascinating character. He was born in 1902 or 1903 in Germany. He gave a different date at different times in his life. He studied medicine at the University of Lucerne and art at the Sorbonne before his parents immigrated to New York City in 1919. In 1929, he went into business with Frederick Hearst as John Frederick's Hats. And in 1948, he went solo, opening his own boutique as Mr. John. He officially changed his name to John P. John, or John Pico John, complaining that Americans mispronounced his name as John Hamburger. Mr. John designed for the wealthy and elite of the world throughout his life, including some important Hollywood projects that you've probably seen, including Gone with the Wind and My Fair Lady. His shop in New York City was frequented by the wealthy and elite. He was also an early master of branding, which you can see in some of the unique labels that were made for him, and the lining fabric, which is printed with Mr. John. There's an interesting anecdote about a lady rushing into his shop on her way to a party requesting a hat immediately. Mr. John grabbed some bits of ribbons and supplies and whipped it up directly on her head. When the would-be client balked at the price, he took it apart, handed her the supplies, and said, "That'll be $3.59. Do it yourself." Which brings up the interesting question, what makes designer wear worth it? Are we really paying for the artistry, and what's that worth? If it were me, I would happily pay whatever Mr. John asked to make a hat directly on my head. As the conservator, I'm also in charge of the care of these pieces, which means that I'm always solving the problem of how to store challenging ones, like this beehive style, which is a 1960s Mr. John operation. How would you safely store hats that protect their shape, but still make them able to view and appreciate when I want to share them with the public? Thanks for stopping by. Stop by again next week at 10 a.m. for another Cam Look.